Hello and welcome to SAP Insider Technology Insights. I'm Craig Powers, Research Analyst at SAP Insider. And today I'm joined by Tony Audino, Co-CEO at PeoplePath, to discuss alumni management. Tony, it's great to have you on, and tell me a little bit about your company and yourself.
Hi, Craig. Great to be here with you. So I'm, as you mentioned, co-CEO of PeoplePath, and I'm responsible for global alumni solution and the U.S. operations. So my experience with alumni programs goes back over 25 years to when I started the Microsoft Alumni Network in June of '95. PeoplePath provides a talent management solution that really spans the entire career life cycle, from candidates to current employees to alumni. And our mission is to really enable organizations to maintain these lifelong relationships with their people, because we believe that these relationships are the foundation for mutual success. And we'll talk more about that later. But we think this notion of mutual success, a win-win, is kind of at the heart of a more inclusive economy.
Great, and let's define what we're talking about. What is alumni management? And you touched on it a little bit, but why is it so important right now?
Yeah, great question. I think alumni management is understood in a higher ed context, but sometimes in the corporate context, it's less well understood. So alumni management is really about a strategic initiative where an organization basically looks to maintain lifelong relationships with former employees and to create value on both sides for both the alumni or the former employees as well as the organization. So this is important today, we think, for two reasons. At a micro level, it creates a tight bond or this long-lasting relationship between the company and its people. We think that this bond provides a kind of fertile ground for growing and maintaining trust. And part of that trust is that there be mutual benefits. So we've done research with Cornell University and University of British Columbia to really understand why alumni join these programs and kind of what's in it for them. And we can talk about that more if you're interested, but there's got to be some value in it for the alumni and of course value in it for the organization. So what the pandemic has taught us is that these relationships, personal and professional, really matter today, and that there's no stickiness anymore as it relates to location. You can work for anybody, anywhere. So people are leaving in record numbers. So an organization has to find a way to, again, create a bond. And we think these kinds of programs help build this long-lasting relationship and ultimately influences the culture and the employment brand of an organization.
Yeah, you touched on something big right now. You know, in 2021, we talked about the Great Resignation and everything, and companies leaving, people leaving their companies. And yeah, if you have that connection, that can be huge for you going down the road. So exactly. How do you build that relationship? What's challenging about it, and kind of what do companies maybe do wrong right now?
You know, for some, it's not challenging. It's kind of part of their culture. We all know these companies that are more family-like. I would pick SAP as an example and say, if you look at the way they treat their people, an alumni program was a natural extension of that. But that's not true for everybody. So for some, it's almost counterintuitive to their culture. They're still living in the days of more of a command and control hierarchical structure, and they don't have any idea why you'd invest in building long-term relationships, especially with people that are leaving the organization. But what we think this is beginning to change rapidly, both as a result of the pandemic, as I mentioned earlier, and as younger, more inclusive generation assumes leadership roles in these companies.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so from your perspective at PeoplePath, how do you help companies create these relationships, and what are your solutions and services that you have that are relevant to that?
It really depends on where they are in the process when they come to us. Either we're doing outreach through webinars and so forth, or they'll come to us. And if they're already pretty well informed about the business case for an alumni program, then we really start talking about our solution and what it can do to help leverage their alumni program and create value for them. If they're not there yet, they're still in the more of the educational process, then we help them build a business case and really understand about this notion of mutual benefit and how you create a platform that delivers value to the alumni, as well as creating a real measurable value for the organization itself. So we talk about the business drivers for them, and we talk about alumni really looking to, it's kind of 5 personas. There's people who are really coming to further their career. So career focused. There's people that are really just social or networking focused and they're looking to build relationships. There are people that are really kind of product or service. They're kind of the geeks. They really want to stay connected to the organization and see what's going on. There are people that are mission driven. So they're really still connected to the purpose or mission of an organization. They're kind of at the center of a bullseye for alumni program. You want to identify those people because they're the most valuable in the spectrum of alumni that can join. And the last one are what we call pragmatic. They're on the other end of the spectrum, the least valuable. They're kind of the grab and go. They want whatever benefits you provide in terms of discounts or savings. And so you're really trying to, in an alumni program, provide a menu or offering that appeals to this broad array of people, these 5 personas. And the thing is, it changes over time. It's dynamic, meaning that today I might be pragmatic and a relatively little value alumni program, but tomorrow or a year from now or 5 years from now, I could be really mission focused. I've really reconnected with the organization and really want to help it achieve its purpose or mission.
Great. And obviously you're talking about alumni management and that's, that's what your solutions are providing here. So kind of what are the business requirements ultimately that companies need that you're working with helping them achieve?
Sure. And one thing that I realized when you talked about your last question and what we do, so I talked about helping them build a business case and really understand the value proposition on both sides. But we also then offer a technology platform, of course, that's cloud-based, highly secure, highly brandable, configurable, so it can easily adapt to their changing needs over time. And then we provide services, essentially, that are married with that platform in a way to really deliver value to them. So we've got the most experienced team in the marketplace, and we really help them to build a comprehensive alumni program. As to the business requirements, or what are the drivers, if you will? Typically, we talk about several for the organization. One is it really helps to increase revenue. So when somebody leaves the organization, if you maintain a relationship with them, 80% of them go on to work in that company's ecosystem. So they're either a customer, a partner, a vendor, whatever, and there's a real opportunity to do business with them. So we found that organizations can generate literally millions of dollars a year in additional revenue through their alumni. So for an example, one of our medium-sized clients generated $376 million over a 6-year period of time through alumni assisted sales. So that's a big driver. I'd say particularly in professional services, but it extends into technology and financial services and other sectors that our clients fall in. The second probably important driver is really about talent acquisition. Alumni comprise kind of a very strategic talent pool that companies can leverage to quickly fill full-time and contractor positions at little or no cost to the organization. So it helps you get to market more rapidly. There's less risk of loss because these people already know the organization, understand the culture and the processes and so forth. So alumni can be a great boon, particularly in a time like today where talent is hard to come by. So we're seeing lots of people come to us and say, hey, we really need an alumni program because we've got critical positions we just can't fill in the marketplace. So it's also the second best source of referrals after current employees. So you go to your alumni and say, hey, maybe this position isn't good for you, but do you know anybody else that might be interested in the role? So our research indicates, Craig, that an average Fortune 500 company can save upwards of $12 million on rehires and referrals every year.
Those are big numbers. And so what to get to that point, so it sounds like your clients they're approaching this from a sales perspective, they're approaching this from a recruiting and talent acquisition perspective. So how do they build those strategies out along with your solution to achieve those goals?
Yeah, typically what you're doing is building the strategy starts with an executive-led initiative. So you've got somebody that's driving the initiative. Typically, it lands within either HR, if it's talent acquisition as the primary driver, or marketing or a line of business, if it's generating revenue. And then it's about how do we create a solution that's well integrated with the other enterprise applications so that you're really the onboarding of alumni as well as the ongoing maintenance of the solution itself and the sharing of data among those solutions is very streamlined and easy to do so that the people running the program can really focus on the strategic elements of the program working with us. And we really help them think about what those strategic issues are and how you create a plan. Typically, we talk about a 3-year plan where it's about grow in year 1, it's about engage in year 2, and it's about sustain in year 3. But it really depends upon the company, where it's at, and so forth in terms of the best way to really develop those strategies and then deploy that solution within the organization.
Well, you touched on a little bit how you integrate with enterprise applications. So obviously we're SAPinsider. A lot of our members are SAP customers. So how does your solution integrate with SAP?
Well, I should first mention that SAP is both a partner and a client. So SAP launched with PeoplePath back in, I believe it was 2017. So we've been working with them on their alumni program, and then now we're a full partner in the SAP store. So the best way to think about the way we integrate with SAP is to, again, use one of our clients as an example. So one of our largest global construction companies has integrated their core HR infrastructure, which is both on-prem SAP solution as well as an SAP SuccessFactors with our platform. And as a result of that integration, they now have a fully automated lever and boomerang process in place. So when somebody leaves the organization, they're automatically basically enrolled in the alumni program. And then they're presented job opportunities, again, that they could either refer to somebody else or apply for. And that process is tracked if they do get rehired. So you've got this boomerang process that you're able to really measure the value of from exit to rehire in over what period of time and so forth. So it really makes it a compelling program from a talent management perspective. So that's an example. And I'd say, almost all of our clients are integrated either with certainly SAP in many, many cases, as well as other enterprise applications in the HR or CRM space.
So to wrap it up here, are there any other lessons or lessons learned that you could share about any of the solutions, the issues, the challenges that we've discussed?
Yeah, I'd say the one, and I learned this lesson long ago in my days at Microsoft, but certainly have continued to learn it, that persistence really pays. When I look back we started PeoplePath, really its predecessor, back in 2006. And, few, as I mentioned before, really understood the need or importance of alumni program. And it's such a different story today. So if we had given up back there, kind of pushing the boulder up the hill, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I'm a big believer in persistence. And then I'd say the second thing is, and the alumni program is kind of an instantiation of this, that how you treat people really matters. I think more today than ever. We see that, in the business world, in your personal life, and the political spectrum. It seems so obvious, but it can be harder to do in practice. It really does matter how you treat people. So we try to emphasize that in the building of a real community with your people, both current and former employees. We try to do that. And again, how we treat our clients and how we treat our team members on the PeoplePath team. That's, I'd say those are the two things that I've learned over the last several years.
Great, Tony. And I really appreciate you sharing all that information with me, sharing the story of your company and then of your customers. I've really learned a lot about alumni management. Thank you again for joining me.
Craig, it's a pleasure. Happy to do it anytime. And thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.